Thanks for tuning in. This is Thomper Thompin, and in this video I'm going to give you guys a quick tour, run through, demonstration of this 2023 Forest River Ibex 19QTH. Q for queen bed, TH for toy hauler. It does have a ramp gate that also doubles as a patio, and I'll talk a lot about the garage, show you guys the interior, talk about the solar package that came with this unit, and speak to some of the upgrades that I've made so far. So recently I put out a video of a review for a 7x16 cargo trailer that I converted into a camper, and obviously I've since upgraded. So I sold that unit and I went out and bought an actual toy hauler. You know, I got a 3-month-old at home and a wife that definitely prefers glamping over camping, and the older I get, I kind of look for that too. So this has obviously like an onboard kitchen, bathroom, shower, nice cozy bed and all that. But the reason I specifically chose this unit was for several reasons. It's about as big, heavy tongue weight as a toy hauler that you can really tow with a half-ton and stay within spec. So I know not every half-ton is created equally. I've got the latest generation Tundra, just the gas-only version. It has a payload of 1,400 pounds, but it also has like a very impressive tongue weight that it can withhold as well. So this unit has a listed tongue weight of 800 pounds approximately, maybe 790. Although I do have a tongue weight measurement tool and a scale, and I weighed it in at 890 pounds. Now that wasn't on perfectly even ground, and you know, who knows, the spare tire, which is now up on the roof, was mounted up underneath the basement there. So obviously a huge consideration that eats into your payload numbers like crazy. So that was one of the considerations. I can still have all that tongue weight and still be able to, you know, put a few humans inside the truck and still be within spec. Other things are that this is only 25 feet long, 24 feet, 11 inches, tip to tail. So that was very convenient. The shorter the better. It's just easier for parking, easier to store at the house, less to maintain, all that. And one of the other features I really liked is that it's only 7 feet 4 inches wide. On this Tundra, I have the standard mirrors, which are decent sized, but those allow me to see down the sides of this thing pretty good. So there's no need for tow mirrors, at least on this vehicle. So that's something to consider. This spec unit does weigh in at 4,555 pounds dry. So before any water in the tanks or any gear loaded, of course. So that was another feature that I really liked. I think the cargo capacity is somewhere around like 3,500 pounds, like 4,000 pounds. So you can fit a lot of gear into this thing. If you've got a small side-by-side, that could maybe sneak in there, or a heavy ATV plus a bunch of camping gear, that'll be no problem. So those are some of the reasons I really went with this unit. All right, so here's basically what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to refer to my cheat sheet here. In this video, I want to go over the rear ramp door / patio, show you how that works. I'm going to talk about and show you the garage area, try to give a demonstration of really what you can fit in there, what you may not be able to, show the bathroom off, talk about the kitchen really quick, show the little bedroom area and some of the upgrades we made there. I am going to talk about the 12-volt system on this camper. There's a lot of cool components in there. I did make one major upgrade that I think is really necessary, but I'm really happy to see these units going to more solar power and more use of 12-volt appliances in there. Again, much more on that later. I'm going to talk about a solar generator kit that I purchased from Blue Eddy. Very briefly, I'll have a separate video out on that. I'm going to talk about the air conditioning setup, the furnace setup, talk about the tanks a little bit, give you a demonstration of the tires and the axles, show you underneath there, talk about many of the outside features, and I will give you a shot up on the roof, walk around up there, and that's basically it. One of the features I liked most about this unit was this back patio area. Now, admittedly, it is pretty small, but it's plenty big enough to fit a couple of chairs. So you have a built-in screen that's held on with really strong magnets. And to get this patio system up, you just take out these 2 pins on each side, lay them down. These side rails then come up, and then you use these 2 pins to then lock them in place. It's super simple, easily done by one person, and it's pretty quick. And then once you get the other side up, both these sides just kind of lock into the front, and you've got a closed off patio area if you like, or you can open these up for a door. Obviously the ramp door has to be manually dropped from here. It's actually pretty simple for me. I just pop this pin, pull out the cable, let it drop, still being held up by the other side. You come do that, and then it drops down to the floor, no problem. I forget the capacities. I believe the patio has a capacity of somewhere around 1,000 pounds. And then the ramp is somewhere around, like, I don't know, 2,000 or 3,000 pounds. Plenty enough for any ATV, dirt bike, or golf cart, or side-by-side. So I really love this feature. You guys saw me drop it down. It's just a very simple locks to get that thing back into place. So here's a quick demo of the garage space with one full dirt bike in it. And I've also got my solar generator unit down here with the batteries. So here's one full dirt bike. You can very easily fit two, and maybe with some better E-track system and a way to tie this down front and rear, you could probably fit three very easily. One four-wheeler will fit no problem. Golf cart with ease. Side by side, it's gonna have to be a narrow one. The fisheye lens kind of makes it seem a little bit more cramped than it really is. So here's a little bit of a better demonstration of the garage space. I'm 6 foot tall and I've got absolutely no issues standing up back here. Obviously, we talked about it, a full-size dirt bike fits, golf carts, ATVs, zero issues. I'll post on the screen the actual usable dimensions here, so that would take into consideration the seats, the stairs, and the shelving units when everything's stowed up and you're on the road traveling. So that would be your usable space. You could always take these beds out to give you a little bit more width back here if you're looking to do that. But I briefly want to talk about these tie downs. So there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, about 10 tie downs that the unit came with, and they're great. They look like they're nice and sturdy. They're very well installed, except some of them are pointing the incorrect direction. I would also like to see these tie downs pushed to the corners a little bit more, so you can fit those larger machines and just have an easier time tying them down. Now, how hard is it to add in a tie down? Not very difficult at all. So these little seats are a really nice unit. They just clip up with this tiny little strap that's just screwed into the side of the wall here. Not a lot going on there, but they fold down very nicely as a bed. Again, I'm 6 foot tall and I can fit just fine. My feet are hanging off just a hair, but it's very comfortable, decently sized. And then to get these units up, you just grab this back cushion and that doubles as a couch. The unit does come with a very small folding table that you can put in between you and the other smaller seat on the opposite side. But hey, these are comfortable seats. I'm not gonna lie, I really like them. They do have this like vinyl finish that looks like it's gonna be very easy to clean should you get a lot of mud up here. So happy with the seats. They stow very easily, comfortable. So here's a real quick view of that other seat. Pretty much just good for one person. Yeah, if you have a small dog, they could sleep up there, no problem. You can also just drop an air mattress down here. There's a huge floor to use. So storage is pretty plentiful back here. You do have some of these side cabinets, which you may want to alter so whatever cargo you do end up putting in there is more secure. But you've got these side cabinets that are about waist high, and then you've got these upper shelves with these nets. It's pretty good for storage back here for small knickknacks and things. And then behind the TV, there's an additional smaller cubby. But yeah, very happy with the storage. Airflow back here won't be a problem either. Obviously, you've got this enormous back door with the screen. You've got a very traditional RV door with the screen. And you've got two side windows as well that allow for a little bit of airflow. So they're just the traditional sliding windows. I would recommend being very careful with these blinds. They're a pull down, push up, and they're not the most secure blind systems out there, so just be gentle with those. But yeah, very happy with the airflow and the lighting in the windows. Basically, the last major thing to talk about in this garage space is this 12-volt television. It's a pretty nice little TV, decent picture quality. It is held in place with that strap, and then once you unstrap it, of course, you can move it around however you like. And there's an antenna on the roof, which I will show you later. So you do get some channels, whatever you can get locally with that 360 antenna up top. All right, now I'm gonna quickly run you through the bathroom, the bedroom, and the kitchen. There's plenty of other videos that go over all these features, so I'm just gonna do a real quick single take job. Very simple bathroom, right? You got a light, you've got a shower with a skylight up above that does not open. The shower is actually pretty nice. It's got a water miser to help you save water. Easily fit one person in there. Obviously, you've got a sink, a mirror, storage, a foot flush toilet down here. Pretty nice. And this is where GFCI reset for your outlets in case you have any issues there. The bottom of the shower is vented. Additional storage. You've got a manual open powered fan for an exhaust fan. And then lastly, you've got some additional switches, which I'll cover very briefly later. Actually, right now, you can access your heated holding tank switches here. You can access your electric your electric and propane water heater. I forget which one this is, the electric or the propane. You've got a tank fill indicator, light switch, and your solar charge controller. More on this in a bit. Whoa. Quickly over to the bedroom area. Very simple. You've got some nice lighting up underneath these shelves, and these shelves also have a nice little fancy light switch under here. 2 additional LEDs that you can turn on by yourself. Nice storage for clothing, towels, and stuff. You've got 2 windows that open. This one on the left here is a fire escape window, and obviously the front window is automotive glass, and that does not open. Now, we did swap out the mattress back here with a one of the Tempur-Pedic ones off of Amazon, just to make it a little bit more homey and a little bit more comfortable. You get additional storage back here too, including some plugs, some nice storage, some additional switches for lights and such. But underneath is your storage area / basement, which I'll go over later, and also your inverter. So this is how you turn your inverter on, which is already on, running the 12-volt electrical system in this unit. The kitchen, very, very simple. You got some, again, basic storage up top. I installed this little towel rack holder, a very simple window that also slides. Actually a pretty nice sink. So that makes washing dishes a lot easier. With a cutting board topper. The stove is propane. Very simple. You just go to the front of the trailer, turn on your propane system, and you do have to light it with a switch. Oh, geez Louise. Careful closing that. Or you do have to light it with a lighter. And then the microwave, of course, you do have an onboard vacuum cleaner thing, which you can use to get rid of any dust. Very, very small amount of storage beneath this kitchen. And then the refrigerator, this was a big thing for me. So the refrigerator is 12 volt. You get a freezer up top. Here's how you turn it on and adjust the settings. So it's got a 12 volt large refrigerator. Store all kinds of stuff. That was important to me because it just makes you that much more off-grid capable. So here we are at the front of the trailer, and I want to start talking about the 12-volt system that's on board these units. I really like the direction that they're heading. It seems like every year they're getting more and more advancements, more and more capability for solar charging and operating the trailer with a 12-volt system. So I made a major upgrade to the battery. The battery that came with this unit was an 84 amp hour, 85 amp hour AGM battery, perfectly fine for most people's needs, but I did upgrade to a 100 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery from Renogy. They had a huge sale going on. I think it was like a few $100. Lithium iron phosphate batteries are well known for being very safe, having an insane lifespan where you can just completely charge and deplete the unit like 10,000 times before you're at like 80% capacity left. So I upgraded the battery to just give me that much more storage. Also, with these lithium iron phosphate batteries, you can deplete it down to almost zero without damaging the battery. So here is your on-off switch, by the way, as well. You can completely kill power to the entire trailer. I just leave mine on all the time because the panel keeps everything nice and charged. So let's go check out more of the 12-volt system. So again, just taking you to the front of the trailer to show you the inverter one more time. It is a 2,000 watt inverter with a very basic display unit here. One of the cool things about it is that it can auto detect different battery chemistries. So this unit came with a 12-volt lead acid battery, AGM, and I put in that lithium iron phosphate battery. All I had to do was come in here, switch it over to the different battery type, and it will change the solar charge controller here will change to the exact voltage required for those different battery chemistries. There's only small differences, but it matters to safely charge the battery. Now this solar charge controller made by Go Power is extremely basic. The Renogy battery that I purchased and put into the front there, that came with an app where I can tell exactly what percentage it is, the state of charge. I can see how much of the solar panel up the top of the roof is charging the unit. So like this just gives you the most basic information. We're currently at 13.1 volts and 2.2 amps. So what is that? Approximately 28 watts it's being charged right now. And the 2.6 amp hours, that's how many amp hours you have charged in the last 24 hours. So a very simple setup here. That's the inverter and the solar charge controller. So again, almost everything in this trailer runs off of 12 volts. Obviously the air conditioning unit does not. You need to be plugged into shore power, be using a generator or one of these portable solar generators to be able to use that. But here's some of the additional controls. You've got interior lights on and off. These are all run off the 12-volt system. You've got a porch light underneath the awning that can be amber or white LEDs. There's an additional awning LED that you can turn on and off, and the awning extends with their little 12-volt electric motor as well. And again, I have to reiterate this, the refrigerator's 12 volt. So you can come in the day before you leave, turn this puppy on, and it will be ice cold by the time you actually have to pack it up and leave. And you're not burning propane, you're not worried about dropping your lead acid battery below 50% and potentially ruining that. You've got that massive 100 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery up on the tongue that's going to handle all this stuff, and a 200 watt panel up top, which I'll show you next. So here we are up on the roof of the vehicle, and this is the 200 watt panel that sits right in front. It's just wired in right there, so it's a very simple plug and play. You can add additional panels to increase your capacity. There's plenty of room right here for at least 2 more 200 watt panels, but you will have to wire them in parallel for this system. So here's a quick look at the under bed storage, or what's commonly referred to as the basement on a lot of RVs. A little bit dark because I didn't open the opposite side of the hatch, but I just took out all my power cables. And you can see it goes all the way through the other side. I've got a bunch of solar panels over there. The spare tire that the unit came with was originally mounted on that far side, and I have since put it up on the roof. More on that in a little bit. Your 2000 watt inverter lives back here, and this panel to my right is where you will access your plumbing to do some of the winterizing and things. So this here is kind of my generator setup. This is a Blue Eddy AC300 with a 3000 watt inverter, and I have 2 B300 batteries. I will have a completely separate video dedicated to this unit itself, but basically it's a way to have quiet, exhaust-free power to your unit. So I can do the AC with no problems because I am plugged into shore. I've got this cable running through that I did a little cutout for this tiny hatch. So I'm running the 30 amp cable that plugs into the side of the RV to mimic shore power, and I also have some solars hooked up right now that I push through the bottom of there as well. I got one panel going. It's a 200 watt panel. It is kind of a hazy day, and you can see I don't even have it set up exactly at the sun right now. I've got additional panels that I can set up in an array, but as you can see, It's charging at 149 watts right now, just off that singular panel. So you get a handful of panels out there and you can pull, you know, 5, 6, 7, 800 watts. This thing is a pretty capable unit. It's also very expensive. So it's not for everyone. More on that in the video that I have created. But yeah, cool little unit that you can use to power your trailer. I encourage you to check out the other video I made if you want to see more on that. So real quick on the air conditioning unit, again, I'll show you the roof at the end of the video, but it's a Furrion unit, and as you can tell, it's pretty toasty in here right now. But this is where you control your fan. You can do auto setting, low setting, high setting. You can set whatever degree you want, and the unit is right here. So it all comes out of this singular vent and just kind of blows down at the floor. So that's kind of a pain in the butt. It's extremely loud, but it is a pretty great AC unit. I think it's around 15,000 BTUs of cooling power, something like that. And again, I'll show you the unit up on top, and it does draw anywhere from like 1,500 to 1,700 watts traditionally, since I've kind of measured on this Blue Eddy unit. So I have yet to mention the propane tank. This one only came with a 20-pound tank. These are pretty common. You know, you just pop that off, turn your propane on, and then you got propane going to your stove, your furnace, your hot water, any other things that are supplied with propane. Obviously, some refrigerators are supplied with propane as well. And I'm really happy with the furnace unit. It's also controlled through this Furrion thermostat. All of the heat comes out through the bottom here. It's about 20,000 BTUs of heat, and it really does warm this place up quick. All right, heading underneath the unit, you've got a 30-gallon fresh, 30-gallon black, and 30-gallon gray water tank. Gray and black kind of feed into this single exhaust here, and they are all insulated underneath. You got your low spots where you can drain them for when you winterize the unit. Yeah, pretty basic setup. Not the biggest of tanks, but appropriately sized for this unit. Okay, so this is where this trailer gets a little bit comical. So they put these cool rims and tires on here, right? These are Goodyear Wrangler Duratrax 235/75 R15s. Now, I'm happy with those tires, sure, but they kind of advertise this entire unit as an off-road capable toy hauler. But if you look, you've got these stabilizers that kind of scissor up and stow. They're kind of low up off the ground. Additionally, you've got your tank release. You've got these other bits that are hanging down really low. There's no way you're going to take this thing off any serious off-road trails. So to me, it's a little silly that they offer this off-road setup when no one's really going to take this thing down any serious off-road trails. There's an additional package. I've got the standard straight axles here, which I'm perfectly happy with, but there's an additional off-road suspension package, which does give you approximately a 4-inch lift for this entire unit. So perhaps that one is a little bit more off-road capable. That system is made by Kurt, and it's more of an independent suspension. So you don't have the solid axle running across the bottom there. You've got more independent axles on each side. Kind of a cool unit to check out. And then lastly, here in the back, you do get a little sewer hose stowage piece right there. But again, that's what, 10 inches off the ground, something like that, give or take. So I'm very quickly going to run you through some of these outside features. It's basic stuff that you've probably seen in a lot of RV videos, right? You got your freshwater connection, city water, all your low point drains. They've got a cable and satellite hookup, I guess, your shore power, a black tank flush, which I'm really happy with, a ladder that does stow up and nice and tight. And you can lock it in place with some pins. You do have your vents that you have to manually open and close. If you do have any exhaust fumes that you're worried about, the awning, I'm really happy with. It's not the biggest, but again, appropriately sized for this unit. One of the cool things that they're doing is if you do get a little bit of a light rain, you can just knock that bar down, which will allow the rain to kind of run off this corner here. So again, the light rain, you don't have to put away your awning all the time. Here's the other basement side access point, nice and wide, but kind of short You do have an additional lip here too. That's for a table and a propane grill that was included with the unit. Here's your liquid propane quick connect. You do have a water spigot as well if you want to hose off your boots and your shoes. Yeah, that's basically it. One more thing I forgot to mention on the outside walk around here is these lights on the rear. Great for loading. You can turn them to a very bright white LED, or you can swap them over to a nice like warm amber color. You've got a similar setup here. You can see the LED strip on the awning that runs the full length, 12 volt. And you've got another light for the outdoor area here. Again, bright LED white light or the softer LED amber. All right, last but not least, I'm gonna go show you the roof. Kind of parked underneath a tree, so that'll be fun. But yeah, 250-pound capacity on this ladder. I'm gonna climb it with the camera here. So a couple of pretty cool features. I think this roof has a 500-pound capacity, so you can easily walk up here and do any maintenance you need to do. There's your Furrion air conditioning unit, your Winegard Air 360 antenna for the television. There's your skylight above the shower. Oh, gee, spider webs in this tree. And there's your manually opening fan. Again, I showed you the solar panel. It does have these little rain gutters that go down each side. And here's something pretty cool. It came pre-mounted with these Rhino Rack trays, but I had to go buy the crossbars myself. Now I've got this spare tire mounted up here now. I do have 2 locks on it, not just this rubber strap. I'll figure out a better solution for that later. But yeah, not a bad roof. A lot of room for more solar panels. And I may do that in the future. We'll see here. So I'm doing my conclusion here in the shade because holy shnikes is it hot outside. Yeah, that's basically it. Half-ton towable, a decent sized garage to carry a few toys, no problem. Great for camping, small, can navigate tighter country roads. And that's basically all I've got for you. If there's plenty of other videos that go into much greater detail on all of the individual features of this unit, I just wanted to give you a quick walkthrough on how I use it. So if you've got any great ideas for some cool upgrades, please let me know. Thanks for watching.